Good morning. Hola, Jen. How are you?
Hello, Alina.
Are you ready for some chaos and coffee?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this. I'm Alina Pineda, and this is my co host.
I'm Jennifer Coonahan.
And tell me a little bit about yourself, Jen.
I am originally from Boston. I'm a mom. I've been in California on the West Coast now for many years. I have 3 kids. I'm divorced. I'm currently engaged. And Yeah, I'm excited to share here on this Coffee and Chaos all our trials and tribulations and laughter. How about you, Alina? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a mother of two of the most, of course, amazing children ever. 32-year-old daughter, 22-year-old son. I also am a mother to nieces, nephews, everybody and anybody who drops their kids off, which you know. I work, I love, but I have endured, I have embraced, I have created, and I've survived a lot of chaos. And that entwines us together because we started out with a lot of chaos.
We started off with a lot of chaos, Alina. And first of all, whoever's listening to this or watching this, can you believe Alina has a 32-year-old? Oh my God, she looks like she's 32, right?
Well, 16 and pregnant wasn't like the thing to do, but hey, 16 and pregnant is what I did.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, Mexicans, we
It's
start early. We like to grow up with our kids. I made my mom a grandma super early. I wasn't selfish. My kids, they're being selfish and not making me a grandma yet. And how old are your kids? Let's go there.
My kids are 26, 24, and 20. So I did start fairly young myself. I was 20 years old. I had my son.
And you have one baby daddy, right?
I have one baby daddy. I know.
I got
Yeah.
two.
Two.
Yeah, I got
That's not bad,
two.
Alina. That's
It's
not
not. It's not.
bad.
I actually liked one of them. So,
Okay.
that was a start.
Okay.
No more for me. Done, closed. But I am single, not engaged, not married, not living with anybody, trying to
Yes.
figure out life, trying to figure out how to date with the 22-year-old at home, 22-year-old boy at home.
Yes.
That's the hard thing. So your boy's not at home, so it's a little easier for you.
No, no, and that's a whole nother topic on a podcast. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we
a
will definitely talk about trying to date and get in prior to your engagement,
yeah.
dating with a boy.
Oh, absolutely. That
Our
definitely
girls are easier.
girls are much in my opinion, yes, girls
Yes.
have been much
Even now
easier.
at 32, I could date 2 different guys at the same time, and my daughter's like, "Hey, if you're happy, whatever, cool." My son would be like, "We don't raise hoes around here."
My son at his age of 26 is like, "Just don't date any but one of my friends, okay?"
Oh, that's definitely a topic we're gonna talk about, dating younger guys for us older women. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I said older.
Oh my
Like,
god.
oh god, that's
We
not.
still look good, girl. We still.
We do, but, at some point, we're not 20 or 30 anymore.
No.
So we're
But
basically coming to you women to embrace you guys with just as much love and laughter and to show you and tell you the world is not easy, but you'll get through it. We got through it. We've been through a lot. I would like to say I've been through a lot, but if you hear Jen's story and how I'm like, that's like my life was a breeze compared to what you've been through. I
well,
mean, and you could say the same. Like you can look at me and be like, "Oh no, I'd rather, walk in my shoes than yours, Lena, because what you went through." But everybody has a story. Everybody has struggles. Everybody has hardships. But what we've learned and what we do now is we embrace it, we laugh, we love, and we know we will keep surviving.
yes. And I what Alina and I share our common ground is we both are and women in general. So many of us are resilient. We are resilient and the things that we have been through, we're in our 40s and we're not bitter about it. They've made us we were talking on the way drive over here. They have saying that we wouldn't change it if we could. We wouldn't go back. Even all the pain, all that has made us who we are today and better for it and filled with love over that, you
Yeah,
know?
we talked about it because we were talking about, which we'll get in one of our other episodes down the road, um, ADHD medicine.
Yes.
And you said if you would have taken it maybe longer, you would have made different choices in life. And I said, but if you made different choices in life, then you wouldn't have the three that you have.
Yes. No, that's
And so
true.
we have to look back and say, would we do it again? And there are some choices, maybe out of our children, that we would do differently, that we would change. But a
Yes.
lot of our choices and our decisions we obviously made have brought us to where we're at with our kids, giving us our children. And I know for me personally, I would never like my son and what I went through with his dad. I praise him and thank him for giving me my son. I would never ever change that for anything because my son is just the whole world to me.
Absolutely.
I mean, we
Absolutely.
had our issues, but I feel like I won. I
Yes.
got the best thing he could ever possibly give a person, and that's my son, like my and I have his firstborn, so I feel like I got all the best genes.
Yes.
Like I look at him and I'm like, I did something right. And not to take that away from my daughter, same thing with her. But I was 16 and at 16 I had no idea what I was getting into.
That's
I mean,
right.
did you know at 20 what you were doing being a mom?
Absolutely not. Speaking of medication and ADHD, yeah, I think I would have made different choices. I'm so glad I have my kids and so looking in retrospect I wouldn't have changed anything, but yeah, I was 20 years old. It was spring break. A guy I had a crush on invited me to Rosarita Beach,
A guy
Mexico.
that I grew up in church with, mind
That
you.
yeah, yeah, they know each other.
Him and his sister.
Yes.
Like, so I still am like,
Yes.
"Huh, Janet, I don't know how that okay, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah."
invited me to, Rosarita, Mexico, and, off I went, and I came back with more than a hangover and a sunburn. I was pregnant with my
And how much
first
older is
son.
he than us?
He's,
Well, than you, because I'm 2 years older than
yeah,
you.
2 years.
So
Yeah, he's, like, 6 years older than me.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that big of a gap.
Yeah, 6 years older.
So if you were 20,
He was
he
26.
oh,
Yeah.
wow. He was a grown
He
man.
was a grown man. Yeah.
Ah, and he saw a little hot, cute Irish girl
Yeah,
and
I
was
guess
like,
so. I guess so. Yeah.
"Nice."
So, yeah, I came back from Mexico pregnant with my firstborn in life, I was all set to college and go down that road and.
You also want to be you wanted to be a flight attendant, correct?
Oh my
And you
gosh.
were working at Southwest with one of our good friends who has passed away, unfortunately, Don Michaels. And
Absolutely.
you that changed your
Absolutely.
whole
That changed the whole dynamics of everything. I mean, I was going part-time to the local community college, but my goal was to be an international flight attendant. It was the 90s and oh gosh, what was that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow came out about flight attendants? It's a comedy. I'll remember it later, people. But I wanted to be an international flight attendant and they used to have I don't know if you're listening, you're from San Pedro. If you remember International Travel School, it was down on 13th and Gaffey. I went there for like a year and I got a job at Southwest Airlines and started working customer service. And I was all set. I wanted to be a flight attendant. And yeah, rest in peace, our dear friend Dawn, one of the most beautiful
oh, amazing.
souls inside and
Love her.
out that I
It's
ever.
so funny to hear you sit here and say, like, at that age, at 20, you knew what you wanted to do, you knew what you wanted to be, you had this life goal path. When
Yeah.
at 20, I'm trying to like literally juggle bills, chase around a little. She would have been before at that time.
Oh my
I have
gosh.
no career path in line, just trying to work, trying to pay bills. Had no idea how chaotic my life I'm sure my grandparents and my mom probably were like, "This girl's, like, wild," right?
Yeah.
And then I look at you and I think, like, from the day that I saw you with our interaction, like, Jen has it all together, but you realize that we put up a front for the most part because we don't have it together.
Yes, yes. What people see on social media and all of that as many of us know is not the case because we're putting our best foot forward when we go out there. So those of you that are listening to us for the first time and that you just know us from our social media, it's like social media brought to life.
Yeah.
So the real deal of the real
And that'll be a
people.
topic too is how real is social media? What people put on there, what they want you to see, not what their life is really about. Because when
Yes.
you really look in someone's life, and that's what this is going to be about, really looking at our lives as single moms,
Hmm.
raising these children, as women today, not having a man that financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically support you,
Yeah.
how to survive, how we've been through it, what we've gone through, and the good and the bad.
Yes.
Because when you do go on someone's social media, you go, "Oh, well, if I went on your social media, Jen's hot. Like, oh my God, look at her. Like, this
Thank
woman
you,
has it
Alina.
made. She's doing this, and her daughters are this and this." But when someone really sits down and has a conversation with you, they can see that, yes, you do have all that. But how hard did you work to get to that point? How many tears, how many nights did you go to bed crying?
A
How
lot.
many times did you wake
Yes.
up thinking, you know what? Suck it up, buttercup. Let's go. We got to do this and fake the funk,
Yeah.
and people don't see that part on social media.
No.
Someone could go on my social media and see the same thing like, oh, it's all unicorns and rainbows.
Mhm.
Farthest from the truth. They don't see the things that I've endured with both my children and a lot of decisions that I've made with men that I look back, I'm like, huh, what was I thinking? Like,
Yes.
I must have been really bored at that time. Like
Yes.
you brought up today, you asked me if I knew somebody, and
Yeah.
I said, "Oh yeah, I was married to her baby daddy, the one and only time I was ever married for like, I don't know, a few months." But I look back at that and think, but that taught me something.
Yes.
That short stint of a marriage that I had taught me to how to be if I ever truly, truly got married. I
Yes.
know what I want in a marriage. I know what I would expect in a marriage. Probably, excuse me, why I'm not married
Yes.
because I have such high expectations of everything that comes with
Yes. That was our what our cameraman was asking earlier. That might what was that cameraman?
Too high expectations,
Too high
possibly.
that.
expectations.
Is it too high expectation or is it not settling?
Well, that's
That's and those are things that we're gonna get into with all of our future
And
episodes.
by the way, I don't agree with that word "not settling." I don't agree with that at all.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't.
and that's Solomon, by the way, if you're wondering who that is. He's our amazing cameraman and his wonderful business over
Hi,
here in the
Solomon.
LBC. Shout out
Yeah.
to Solomon here at what's
Podcast place.
Podcast Place. Yes.
Yes.
Shout out to Solomon.
Who's really solved a bunch of our problems in 5 minutes already.
Yes, yes, he's had to put us up with us
He's-
ADHD
yeah.
Irish Latina chicks that
Yeah.
came in on with full of energy. So we're caffeinated.
By the
It's
way, here's the name of that movie you were talking about.
View from the Top.
There you
Okay,
go.
yes, that was the movie. I saw that and I was
Ah.
like, I shall be an international flight attendant. That was the goal.
And you actually tried to do it again recently.
Yes, I
And
did.
unfortunately, once again, life intervened
Life
and
intervened. And and that's another thing, like if you saw that on social media, and it was true. It's not that it was fake or anything. I did I finally my kids were off at college, well, two off at college. One rehab, but anyhow, well, that's a good
we'll talk
thing.
about
We'll
that on
talk about
another
that
one.
another time. But anyhow, and it felt like the perfect timing to go fulfill that dream. And I went off to flight attendant school and it was a wonderful experience. But then
And how long were you there for?
it was like the middle towards close to graduation. Like I had a few more
But a few
sessions.
weeks, a month, or
Yeah,
like it was like
closer to him, like a few
okay,
weeks, a
okay,
few weeks.
okay.
And it's like usually a 4 to 6 week program. I was there like 3 weeks or something, and then my mom, who had me when she was older, and she's has a lot of health issues. She had a fall while I was gone, and she fell and like broke her hip and her femur and all this stuff. So, even though I was, daydreaming of being this or fulfilling the dream of being this flight attendant, and what good's it like drinking an espresso under the Eiffel Tower in Paris if your mom's in a hospital with a broken hip?
And you rushed back right away for her.
I rushed back right away.
Yeah.
They were very supportive, the instructors. I did really well there. They said that I have a open door invitation with them, so that feels really good. And I rushed back right away for my mom, and
And
yeah, and
obviously with no regret with that. It
there's
just
no regret.
wasn't meant to be for you for whatever reason the second time
This
around.
I feel completely at peace with it, and it's actually brought me into the career I'm in today, which I'm just so grateful and loving. And yeah, I wouldn't be here.
And how's your mom today?
My
So we know.
mom's doing well. She's doing much better. Thank you for asking,
Good.
Alina. Yeah, she's doing much better. She still has her health issues, but she's a trooper. She's a trooper. She's a tough little
Is that
Irish lady.
where you got it from?
For my mom and my dad, for sure. I got, you know what? Both of them
Are they
are
both full Irish?
yes.
Because I know you
Yep.
talk about your grandpa and your grandpa came from Ireland.
Yes.
So I know your dad's full Irish.
Yes.
But I didn't know about your mom if she was or not.
My mom's Irish descent as well, but she's from America here,
Okay.
and my dad and grandparents on that side immigrated over from Ireland
So you
to
have
Boston.
like you really cling to your descent, your heritage, your culture,
Sure,
like
yeah.
all but also Boston is a huge part of you too though.
Boston's a huge part of me. I feel like I was brought up on both coasts, my, parents divorced and I came out here in, like, junior high school, um, and my dad, I went back for summers and winter breaks to Boston till I was 18 years old, so it was like school on the West Coast, breaks
Yeah.
on the East Coast, so I still hung out with I'm from Southie, shout out to Southie if anybody ever listens, South Boston, and I still had that connection with the East Coast and the West Coast, thing.
Okay.
With
Let's hear the accent, though. You gotta have the accent. Come on.
I can pack a cat, Solomon, if needed, okay?
Love that,
Yeah,
love
let's give her a
that.
cheers for
It's
that.
This is
I had it. I couldn't shake it for a couple years. People would come
mhm.
up to me, "Say something, say something." I didn't even know I had an accent, till I came to San Pedro or
Yeah.
LA. Yeah.
So Jen moved to San Pedro, where I was born and raised,
Yeah.
San Pedro, California.
Yeah.
We met in junior high.
Yeah.
My father, who is amazing, who I adore, is from Mexico.
Yeah.
Came here. I think he had to be like 9 or something like that. But so my grandparents were married, had 4 kids, came up to Tijuana, Mexico, and my grandfather did everything the right way. He got them all their green cards, everything like that. So the 6 of them came here, went to school, worked, did all that, and then met my mom, who is from here. And both
Yeah.
my grandparents on my mom's side are from here. So we're Mexican Americans from here. But on my dad's side, they're from Mexico. Um, as time went on, my parents got divorced and my dad moved back to Mexico with my grandparents. We were sent there to for summers to visit him and all that stuff.
And who was your mom? And what was I'm a big Alina Pineda mom fan, even though I haven't met her.
We'll discuss that a whole other time. But
Okay.
but my mom is my mom. She's amazing today. We've had her struggles, but she's a good person. She's a good woman today. Not that she wasn't, I shouldn't have said. She's always a good woman. She just had her struggles. We've all had our struggles. But
Yes.
she is actually will be coming out in a documentary pretty soon about the first licensed woman in California to fight. And I believe she was 18, 17 when she started. So, or no, she might have been after 18 because David and I were already born, my brother and I. So we'll do a whole segment on her, and we might even bring her in if she's willing to talk about it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Um, I'll probably be hammering her with some hard questions. You could ask her all the fun stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So my parents got divorced. He moved back to Mexico. We visited him there, but we stayed and lived in San Pedro forever, and that's where we met.
That's where we met, which actually, I don't know if it's the time, but I mean, which our next episode will be that
Jen and I got in
could
a full-on brawl in the middle of a street on a Friday or Saturday night.
which brings the boxing into makes sense a lot that her mom was a boxer. Because this town that I grew up in South Boston was a pretty back in the 80s was a very blue collar working class tough little Irish town. And it was normal there to like fight. Sometimes friends would even just fight just for the sport of it, the heck of it. And you'd been in a bunch of brawls by the time you were like 11, 12 years old in Southie. And it was like, that was just the norm, and
Yeah,
I
there's the movie with Mark Wahlberg and I think it's The Fighter.
the fighter and then Ben Affleck, you like that one, right?
That's the town, yeah.
The
But the one
town.
with the fighter, when those girls were just, I was like, oh, I thought it was just Mexicans that were crazy.
Yeah.
White girls too were just as crazy. Like they
Yeah.
don't mess with them.
Yeah. So then when I come to here to San Pedro and Alina and I have our should I go into that now, Alina?
You
Or
could
should we save that for
slightly, you
next
could
time?
slightly touch on it. You could
Slightly
slightly
touch
touch
on
on
it.
it.
Well, let's just say we didn't start off friends in high school. Even
No.
though there was many things about her that I admired, we didn't start off
And not that I didn't admire Jen, but she was 2 years younger than
2
me.
years younger, which is a
And
big deal in high
it
school.
is.
Yeah.
In high school, you don't look at girls that are younger. You don't pay attention to them, especially when you're pregnant in high school and trying to like survive that. Anybody else didn't matter, but
I
so
think I think in the hallway once I had my books and she bumped into me on my shoulder and laughed and said, "Little girl." And I can remember I was so mad I went out the whole like lunch break to my girlfriends. I talked about how I was going to kick your ass. And
I
but
think I was walking with Clarissa, and I remember that.
yes, yes, she was like, cuz that's a big age gap when you're she was a senior, I was in
Yeah.
10th grade and usually I was ready to throw down this kid from Southie, but for whatever reason, the next couple times I saw her, I like froze, you know? I think because I told my friends about it so much, I was like, wait till I see her
And the
next
funny thing
time.
is I had a kid
Yeah.
that was like a year or 2, and I'm over here arguing with girls, like, I look
Yeah.
back now, like, who even let me even have a kid? Like, what were you thinking? Like, I'm in high school still fighting. That's what girls do in high school, right? You
Yeah.
argue, you fight, and of course, it was over a boy that it was like the stupidest thing
Stupidest
ever.
thing. Yeah.
But who let me have a kid because I didn't even know what to do or how to act, like, so
Yeah.
we got in a big brawl,
Yeah.
finally let out our emotions, and that was crazy, and we'll get into all that at
We'll
a
talk
whole
about that
'nother.
another time, but,
Wait, who won?
ah!
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember. Like, I think I don't remember because my brother and all his friends were there, and they were stopping it, and I I honestly don't remember. I really don't. Jen remembers a lot, and a lot of why I don't remember is because she was younger, it didn't matter to me. I was, like, probably trying to kiss a really hot guy that night, and that mattered more than anything. I mean, I really don't remember.
Yeah. I will say this about Alina. So I grew up in Southie, and my dad and my grandfather and boxing was a big part of our family, like talking about it, watching it on sports events on TV. That was my favorite sports events to watch. It's still my favorite. I love boxing, and my cousins were all older than me and they were boys, and so that's who taught me how to fight, boys. So when I fought girls when I was younger, back when I was a kid in junior high school, uh, I didn't want no part of it because it was I hurt them.
Yeah.
I hurt them, and it wasn't a fair
But don't you think that girls at that age are a little bit more aggressive than boys anyways? Like, when you're young, when you're, like, 11 or 12, boys are still just so goofy. We're girls, we have so much, like, "R" in us, like, we
yeah.
already have a fire in us. So,
Yeah.
in elementary school, when you're fighting someone, I feel like girls are still so much more than boys could even, at that age, even
Yeah.
figure out who they are.
Yes.
'Cause I remember fighting a few boys, in elementary school. They would didn't like my brother, and it'd be like 3 against 1, and I'd have to run over and jump in and, like, now I look back like, "Oh my god, what if I woulda got hit by, like, a boy in the face?" You know?
Yes.
Like, but you don't think at that age. It's
No,
way different.
you don't. You don't. Yeah, no, I had to stop fighting with boys when my
When you got boobs.
when I got boobs. No, I know. Right? No, when my when my dad was like, "I'm gonna kick their ass if these boys fight with you." So, for their own protection, I had to stop doing that. But you were the first girl that back to Solomon's question of who won. The first girl I ever fought with that gave me a run for my money. So I will say that.
I just remember my mom always saying, "Get your ass kicked, wait till you get home. It's gonna be
Uh,
worse." But and not only that, like, I believe me, I'm 49 now, wouldn't wanna fight, couldn't fight. I'd be
yeah,
like,
me
for
too.
one punch, I'd be out of breath, like, oh. But, that where in San Pedro was such a common thing.
Common.
And if you did not fight when somebody came at you,
Oh yeah.
everybody knew you had to defend yourself. Even if
Yes.
there was a girl, and I won't say her name, little petite girl that everybody fought, she'd get her ass kicked. But what I admired about her is she would jump right back up and keep going. I was like, girl, like,
Yes.
you're still going. But she knew she had to. She
Yeah.
knew that she couldn't let people do that to her. And unfortunately, that's just the town we grew up in.
Yes.
People were fighting, getting stabbed, getting shot. Like, I look at my sister now, that's a fighter. You want to see a fighter? My
Yeah.
sister is a fighter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like Barbie's compared to her. She's like, "Let's go." And I'm like, "Do we have to?" There was a party and she was running out once. And this is well after I was already at high school.
Yeah.
She's like, "Let's go. There's fighting outside." And I literally was like, "But I'm trying to kiss him. Like, can I
Yeah.
kiss him?"
Oh my god.
And she was like, "Now." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Which I will say, I'm so happy Aline and I made up right after our fight. We didn't go run off into the sunset and become best friends, but we made up after our fight pretty quickly,
Mhm.
and I'm so grateful for that because then I found out who her little sister was after that,
Funny, my little sister.
and I was like, "Oh, wow, I'm glad we're friends now," you
Yeah.
know. So
My little sister's amazing. We'll have her here once.
oh, I would love
But,
that.
I mean, Solomon might have to bleep out every 3 words.
Ah.
Hey, it's your podcast.
I think everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, how are they related?" Like, tell me we're not night and day.
You and your sister?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't know her now or anything like that. I didn't know her then, but I mean from, I was
but
glad
we're
that I
night
didn't
and
have to
day.
fight her.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I'm
Um,
glad I don't have to fight her.
and I will say this about Lena, what I love, and also I guess evolving into our, you know, on our podcast here is the fact that knowing now is in our as in our adult years is when our friendship has developed, and to get to know the woman you are today um is just Alina's like this beautiful onion, and then she just the more layers that get peeled, she's just you touch my heart. You
Thank
really
you.
are a beautiful
Thank
soul
you.
filled with love.
But are you not surprised or amazed at our stories? Like when we've talked before, and I
Yeah.
thought you had it all together. In my head,
Yep.
oh, this beautiful, like sexy little white girl. Every guy
Yeah.
wants her. She's gorgeous. Life is perfect for her. Like that's how I saw you in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
Well, then to come to find out, life wasn't as perfect as I thought for you,
No.
and vice versa, right? Like we
Yeah.
all think that everybody has it together
Yes.
until we really sit down and have a conversation with them. And then you're like, wait, but you were always smiling. You're like, yeah, I was faking it. But
Yeah.
wait, you were always happy. Like you said to me once, like you walked around in high school pregnant laughing. And I was like, first of all, I had no idea what pregnant was in high school, so
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for it. So to me, like I told you, I was still looking at cute boys to kiss, like
Yeah.
not showing yet. So I'm gonna kiss as
And
many
she
boys
was
as I
going to
can.
class, though. She was
I
going to
did.
I finally did try
I
to fight
did.
with you in high school, and you were
Mm.
like, "I'm not getting kicked out of school for you."
Because I had already gotten in a lot of trouble. But I did graduate high school
She
on
graduated
time
high
with
school.
my class. So all these kids that say, "Oh, I can't graduate high school," I was like, I had a
Yeah.
kid and graduated. Like you can
Yes.
do it. Like that is so important.
Yes.
But we've come a long way. We've endured a lot. As much as we're laughing, there's a lot of tears that'll come in future podcasts.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, if you're listening to this or watching this right now, whether you're a man or a woman, we just encourage you to the things that Alina and I have gone through. We're going to be sharing with you. We're sure many of you will be able to relate, and that we've come through it, and that we come through it with stronger and with more
Good.
love
We
and
definitely need a lot of advice moving forward.
yes,
Like for me, dating advice.
yeah.
For her, engagement advice.
And why I'm not wearing my ring today. Alina definitely wants to pick that apart and go
Yeah, I
for it.
want to hear
Well,
that excuse.
that's if I was engaged today at 49,
Yeah.
I honest to God think that I would never leave my house without it. Like I for me to get engaged, that's the
Yeah.
biggest part. So if I was engaged, like my babe would never have to worry about me leaving the house without it.
I think I
Like
just forgot it and I leave it in the drawer sometimes because I do have ADHD. You're probably going to hear me all say that a million times. I have ADHD and I leave it in the drawer in the box, but I don't know. Maybe it's deeper than that. Who
oh
knows?
yeah,
We could
but
uncover
if
that.
Michael B. Jordan gave you that engagement ring, would you be wearing it every day?
I don't
You
know.
would, you would. You'd be like, "Baby, I
What?
ain't forgetting that ring."
What do you think, Solomon? Do you think it's deeper than I'm letting on to here, or
The fact that you mentioned the box.
yeah,
So if you had a wedding ring, why are you still have the box hanging around? It should be in your jewelry case or
Oh my god.
someplace where you put
You
your
meant the box
jewelry.
like the ring that it came in?
yeah,
Yeah, see
like
that's a that's a red flag for me.
is it? Well, I don't know. I'm not,
Girl,
uh, girl. I don't
I'm
know.
just saying if I was engaged, I'd be like and the reason Jen will tell you,
Yeah.
I'm very afraid of not afraid. I'm just for me to be engaged, he would have to be a very righteous man.
Yes.
Very. He'd have to have faith. He'd have to be loving. He'd have to be non-judgmental.
Yes.
And I say that loud and clear because my beautiful 32-year-old little lesbian ass daughter who just got married this year, you better not judge her because you can
That's right.
walk out that door you came in. And so I, and I don't really drink.
Yeah.
I will not lie and say that I do take some edibles.
No.
I do have to for my ADHD, I have
Yeah.
to take a little something to like
Whatever works for you, Alina. Yeah.
but I don't abuse it.
You don't abuse it. Yeah.
So there's a lot that comes with me being engaged. So but if I was and that
Yes.
man was there, that ring would never be off.
Well, I we'll see. Stay tuned for that. And as you know, like I maybe another episode we'll talk about. But I've drank enough for 2 lifetimes. I like to say, and done other substances. I have 11 years sober. And, yeah, 11 years sober one day at a time, and,
How do you do that? Because I cannot quit Dr. Pepper, and don't you laugh at me.
well,
Like,
I
I literally am a crackhead for Dr. Pepper. Like,
yeah.
I always say, I don't know how people quit drugs or alcohol. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Like,
It's an ongoing thing, Alina, and definitely I have like an addictive personality, so it's I put down the drug, picked up the drink, put down the drink, picked up food. I've been 70 pounds heavier than I am now.
which you could never
Um,
notice because she's gorgeous.
well, thank you. I've put on a little weight
And all jokes
recently.
aside, I was joking about quitting Dr. Pepper. This is a very
Yes,
serious subject, and we will talk about it near
yes,
things. But just the fact that
yes.
11 years sober is amazing to me. Like, I don't
Thank you, Alina.
literally, that is such a strong, strong thing to do.
Thank you so much, Alina. Yeah, aside from my 3 children, it's the greatest accomplishment of my life.
Yeah,
It absolutely is
it has to
something.
be.
Yeah, it's the greatest aside from the children, the greatest accomplishment.
And we'll
But
talk about that and how and why you went down that path and how you got sober
yeah.
and everything that you've been through since then. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I the only thing I do is like I said, the edibles and smoking a little bit for my ADHD because
So,
I'm
are you single right now, Alina?
oh yeah, most
Oh,
well, yeah, yeah. Oh
so
my God.
are we gonna talk about that on here? Are we gonna
Oh
spill the
yeah,
tea a
for
little bit?
sure. I mean, we don't do it right now,
Yes.
but no, we for sure can talk about that. I
All
mean,
right.
and I think another thing is I genuinely love men for what they were created for.
Yes.
I and the one thing I teach in my house, is we have no color lines.
Yeah.
Gay, straight, black, white, purple, pink, fat,
Yeah.
skinny, short, tall, I don't care as long as
Yeah.
you're happy. And believe me, my son is a woman is sorry, it's not a woman, is a how can I say this? He loves women of
Yeah.
all shapes, size, and colors. And for me as a mom, I think that's so, so beautiful. He doesn't
Beautiful.
see, he just loves women. He
Yes.
thinks they're amazing. And obviously, my daughter loves women.
Yes. Yes.
So we teach that. So for me, um, I, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter the color of your skin, it doesn't matter any of that. You just have to be a very honest man. And I don't think that that really social media is a huge problem with that. I don't think that men know can look at you and say, "Hey, my bad, I effed up. Like I was wrong. I shouldn't have done this or this." Like take ownership. Like I think what I want doesn't exist anymore. Like I
Yes.
was made from such a different cloth. I don't know if I was born in a different era, the wrong era.
Yeah, I definitely think we got to dig deeper into that topic one of these sessions because yeah, it is definitely a whole different ball of wax with social media, with online dating.
Oh, I won't do online dating.
Yeah.
I'm
I went from my single days, I have
mama.
plenty of stories. I am engaged
And
right
you didn't
now.
end up dead in someone's
No,
basement.
I didn't end up
Yay!
dead in somebody's basement.
But don't you feel with online dating, someone can just swipe you and you're swiping maybe Mr. Perfect. But
Yeah.
because that one picture with that one colored shirt that the lighting didn't look right or didn't look good, you swiped him.
Yeah.
And same thing with him, he swiped you. Like I don't feel like you get a real person doing that.
Yeah.
But I have heard a lot of success stories.
There's
So,
a lot of success stories and
so I'm
there's
not against it, I'm just against
yes.
it for me.
And we'll definitely be talking about people slipping into the DMs because
Oh.
that's a real thing.
I thought it
And
was sliding into the DMs.
What did she say?
She said
slide
slipping.
She's
ah
slipping into the DMs?
slipping
Or when
sliding.
I
Yeah.
think I get more married men in my DMs
Oh,
than I do single. So, and that's another thing. I don't get hit on by single men. I get hit on by a lot of married men, by a lot of younger guys. And I'm like, boy, my
it
daughter is your age.
mm,
As much as I'm flattered, like, no.
yes.
Like,
No, it is a big thing. The MILF
yeah,
thing, right?
yeah.
If
And I think I have a little bit of daddy issues left in the sense of I want a man. Like I want a man who can use a hammer. Like when someone says, "Oh, well, do you know how to cook?" Fool, can you build me a house?
yes.
Like don't come ask me what I can do. What can you do? Like
Yes.
I want a man that can fix something that can take care of the house. Like I've done it for so long. Like I don't want to call the plumber. Either
Yeah.
go fix it or you call the plumber.
Yes.
Like if I have a flat tire, like you call AAA or you go
Yes.
fix it. Like I'm tired of that.
Yes.
Like I try to limit me taking out the trash. My son does it the majority of the time, or now my grandson, my so when my daughter got married, her fiance had 2 kids, so those are now my grandkids.
Yeah.
He's 16. He takes out my trash. That's one thing I'm like,
Yes.
so I love men for what men were supposed to be. You're supposed
Yes.
to fix my house, fix my toilet, take my trash out, put gas in my car, bring in my groceries.
Yes. All that, Alina.
What
It's
Solomon, what was that look for?
What look?
That look, you like shook your
I
head.
thought that list was a little too long. That's all.
uh,
Wait.
there's
But
probably
I offer just the same. Your house will be clean, your laundry will be folded, there will be something sweet to eat on that stove. There will be baked goods. Like I give as much as I expect, and that's the problem.
Alina, all of that is good, and I think we all want that. But it's like from the times I was single in this day and age, I'm sure there's many women listening that it's like just to have a man that's honest and not slipping into your somebody else's DMs when he's with you because he's a little bored or horny.
Oh,
Like
she
you
said
said,
horny.
I said horny. Yes.
She went there.
Yes. Because like
Well,
you said, how many married men are
yeah.
slipping into those DMs?
And I don't feed into
Yeah.
that. I either don't acknowledge it or I just say
Yes.
like, "Hey, how's your wife?"
So you leave it on scene, Alina?
No, I kind of usually make a response and say like that's very inappropriate. Like don't go there, don't do that.
Yeah.
And the reason being is God forbid his wife sees it. Imagine how she feels.
Yeah.
I want her to be able to look at it and say, "That's on you, not her."
Yeah.
Like she said it right there, clear in there. Like, but again, if like Dave Beckham slipped into my DM, see now I said slipped, slid into my DMs, I would be like, sorry, Victoria, that
Yeah,
killed my
sorry.
life. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's but the main reason I think that I'm single, since Solomon asked earlier, is I buried a boyfriend at 23, and I
Mhm.
don't think you ever get over that.
No.
You deal with it, you learn to deal with it, but not having closure, being able to say goodbye
Mhm.
is something you don't ever recover from. And as good as we were, as toxic as we were, as horrible as we were, none of it matters when he's dead and you don't get to say goodbye. You know what I
No.
mean? Just all you remember is the good stuff. All you remember is what we thought we were going to have. And a lot of me, of who I am as a person in a relationship today, is who he created. I
Yes.
remember when we would date and I do something, he's like, "We don't do that." I'm like, "Oh, we don't?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Okay, we don't do that." So then when he died, I was like, "Oh, we don't do that." Like
Yeah.
all these things that and the thing is, he was younger than me too, but
Yeah.
he still had a certain way about himself. And I embrace it. So now, how do I look back and think if he was still here, would we still be together?
Mm.
But I can't because then I had my son after him.
Yes.
And my son wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't give up that baby for anybody.
That's right.
Nobody.
That's
That's right.
right.
So we've talked your guys' ear off enough, I'm sure. And we hope you come back and listen. I have anything left to say?
We've got lots of juicy topics that we will be talking about, Alina and I. And if you have any suggestions or topics that you'd like us to hear us discuss, leave it in the comments for us and we'll read them.
Definitely, for sure.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you come
Thank
back
you.
for more coffee and chaos. This is Alina.
And I'm Jen.
Have a nice day.
Bye.